Financial Survival Network, helping you survive and thrive in the new economy. For a free financial survival toolkit and newsletter, sign up at KerryLutz.com, KerryLutz.com.
1490 WGCH. 1490 WGCH. This is Kerry Lutz. You're listening to the Financial Survival Network. If you're wondering what's going to happen to the monetary system, are your dollars going to become worthless, or is the euro going to blow up? My next guest can bring an interesting perspective and will shed a lot of light on those topics and more. Ty Andros, TraderView.com, has a newsletter, Tidbits, and he's here with me now at the Bahamas Freedom Fest. Ty, welcome to the Financial Survival Network.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, so you've been writing for over a decade now, and you're predominantly an Austrian economics devotee. According to Austrian economics, where are we right now?
We're in an unfolding currency and financial system extinction event.
And when you say extinction event, does that mean that the human race is going to go extinct, or does that mean the system is going to go extinct, or both?
Well, let's hope not. We've had a lot of depressions, and we've seen a lot of currency extinction events over the centuries, and humans are going to get through it this time just like they have before. But it's going to be an interesting episode, and it actually is, in my estimation, the greatest opportunity in history. It's not doom and gloom. It's just history repeating, and Austrian economics is extremely predictive. So you really are able to understand what's unfolding and hopefully put your investments in the proper, set your sails so it can drive you forward rather than crush you.
Right. Yeah, we've had these monetary collapses throughout history, although this will probably be the mother of them all. And what do you do if you're a guy that has $10,000, $15,000 to your investing name? Where would you put it now?
1 ounce silver coins.
And what makes silver the investment choice du jour?
Well, because it's a store of value. It's a medium of, it moves purchasing power through time and space. It allows a small investor to preserve their wealth and actually grow it, because we're very early in the game. I'm looking for silver to go to at least 150, and I think gold's going to go higher than anybody can conceive. Properly doing the math for the amount of money creation since 1971, it would say that gold's going to 14,000, and that sounds crazy, but there's a lot of paper that's got to squeeze into a real asset like that. It's kind of like a football stadium trying to get into a Volkswagen.
Or all those dwarfs, even though that's not politically correct anymore, at the circus fitting into a Volkswagen. You don't know where they put them all. So is there a global elitist conspiracy to suppress the price of precious metals, specifically gold, silver, and now obviously platinum?
Absolutely. Larry Summers actually became... his rise to fame was when he wrote Gibson's Paradox back in 1987, where he explained how to, I'll call it, kill the canary in the coal mine and, manipulate the price signals that would signal the public the debasement they're undergoing.
Right, and a free market economy relies upon prices for information, because through a price you can tell if it's rising in price, in theory, its supply is diminishing or its demand is increasing. But when you have these externalities, governments monkeying with the market, that destroys your ability to use price information and therefore to make rational decisions, correct?
Well, but that's where the opportunity lies, is these malinvestments have to ultimately reprice to I'll call it rational. I mean, for instance, I am a big fan of John Williams at Shadow Stats, and currently using the 1980 method of inflation's at about 10.5%. Well, it used to be in investments that you had to be compensated for inflation plus a real return of 1 to 3 to 5%. Well, guess what? Do you know how far bonds are going to have to fall to provide a real return? Do you know how far the S&P, which yields 2%, has got to fall to provide a real return? Or how far does commercial real estate have to fall to provide a real return? Those are your opportunities. The key is, how do you preserve your wealth till you get to these buying opportunities? I'm very convinced that you're going to have a better buying opportunity than stocks in 1933. You're going to have a better bond buying opportunity than when Volcker pulled the string in 1980. I mean, properly priced, a bond should be yielding 14 or 15%, and really, it's not hard to manipulate markets when you can print what they're priced in endlessly, and of course that's what they're doing.
Right. So we go to the amount of wealth that's held in gold and silver as a percentage of total wealth. It's less than 1%. And then we look and we say that the value of paper is going to greatly diminish. So conceivably, if gold and silver are the last stores of wealth left standing, and you've got a little bit of it, you could be quite well off and wind up with a huge wealth transfer, right?
That's correct. I mean, when you talk about small investors, there's not a lot of room for speculation. It's more like, how do I preserve my wealth and have some gains along the way? Because, people haven't woken up, and, the amount of people in gold and silver is, 1% of the investors out there. Just any kind of wakening, and they are waking up, and you can expect that to continue to happen. And the idea that gold and silver can go down for any length of time against something that's printed endlessly is absurd.
Right. And so I'm Joe Sixpack, and you're in this belief that you think the government's going to take care of you because it always has, and therefore it always will. And yet you have a sense of uncertainty. You look around, you see events in the world seeming to escalate out of control. How do you, Ty Andros, who knows what's going on, how do you wake me up?
Well, I'm glad that people are waking up very slowly, because it allows me more time to get into position and properly insulate myself and put my investments in the right way. This catastrophe is not over until the West learns that you can't have something for nothing, because the West, properly measured, doesn't produce wealth anymore. It's actually, real wealth creation is shrinking at, a compound annual rate of 3 to 8%, and then of course we have debts increasing at about an 11% compound annual rate, and that's like a rubber band, and sooner or later it's going to snap.
So our wealth production capacity is diminishing. The economy is really diminishing when you factor in the real rate of inflation, not what they tell us, because we have that thing called the GDP deflator. So the situation is really serious, and it's getting more serious. So the time for you to go out and for you to protect yourself, to buy silver and other things that will preserve your wealth, is really, it's closing that window of opportunity pretty quickly, isn't it?
Well, I think it's a little earlier in the game than most people do.
How early, or what inning? Are we in the second inning, the third? Or are we at the seventh inning stretch?
The second or third inning.
So there's a lot more batters yet to come, and a lot more pitches to be thrown, but yet the outcome of the game is known in advance, isn't it?
Never before have they succeeded in what they're trying to do, and that's thousands of years of history. This is a battle, and it's a battle between Mother Nature and Darwin versus Godzilla, okay, known as the Bernanke, and the most powerful people on the world, and they land punches on each other. And of course, there are skirmishes back and forth. But Mother Nature and Darwin have never lost a war.
Okay, and if you are in the process of waking up, if you need a place to find that information, where do we find you on the internet, Ty?
Well, you can find me at traderview.com, and you can sign up for my free newsletter, Tidbits, although I'm on dozens of sites like 24 Hour Gold and Dollar Collapse and Market Oracle and Financial Sense, on and on. But I'm also an absolute return alternative investment specialist, and I specialize in fixing people's paper, showing them how to restore the functions of money, and learn how to make money no matter which way the markets are going, up, down, or sideways.
Great. And do you take emails?
I do. I won't guarantee I'll answer them all, but I'll give it a heck of a try.
Okay. What's your email address?
Andros at traderview.com. And we're going to be opening a website here in about 2 weeks, and it'll be tedbits.com, and I urge you all to give it a try. In fact, Carrie's radio and web work will be posted there as well.
Hey, well, we really appreciate that, and we're going to have a link to your site up on our resource tab on carrielutz.com, and we're going to start checking in with you regularly, Ty, to get the latest update